I want to talk about 5 games that I really wanted to like that I just couldn't get into. I've tried to play these games on multiple occasions, on multiple platforms, and it just didn't work out for me. So let's get into it. I guess these games are in no particular order. This is not a top 5 or bottom 5 list or anything. These are just games that just really didn't draw me in the way I wanted them to. Number 1 being Minecraft. So, I'm absolutely surrounded by Minecraft. My kids love Minecraft. My son, you've seen him on the channel, Kaz from the Canadian Cafe, he plays Minecraft all the time. He's been playing it for years. He's got a server of his own. He puts it up on Twitch and stuff. He's super passionate about Minecraft. I have always wanted to play Minecraft, and I've really liked the ideal of kind of virtual Lego, of being able to build whatever I want. But every time I get into the game, I'm struck by a couple of things. First off, there's not really a story. Second, there's not really any specific progression to the game. There is kind of that adventure mode or whatever it's called where, you do have to survive and kill your creepers and whatever, build a base before dark when the bad guys come out and that sort of thing. But there's not really much of a story or much of a progression of A to B to C. And lastly, it's ugly as sin. I do not understand why they couldn't have gone the route of, say, Dragon Quest Builders 2, where they have some really nice sprite animations for the characters, the NPCs, the animals, the grass, and still have that, cubes building mechanic, but have just a nicer skin on everything. Now, I have seen Minecraft running with some pretty impressive mods over the years on the computer, and it does look better. But it still feels to me, I've played quite a bit of Dragon Quest Builders 2, and there's a nice story progression there. You get to know the characters, there's things to do, there's a progression of, okay, build this, and then go here, and then do that, and then build this thing. And I really appreciate that kind of direction in the game, even though it does give you some freedom to build as you want. There's also some kind of a point to the game. So moving on to the next game, for all these years, I just couldn't get into Minecraft. The next game is Fortnite. Now, the Fortnite, people are split right down the middle on Fortnite, but when Fortnite first came out, I was somewhat interested in it because I had never played a Battle Royale game, and that kind of idea of, parachuting onto an island and being one of the last people to survive, that kind of seemed interesting to me, and I actually did download the game, and I actually did play 3 or 4 matches and, got somewhere into the top 20 or something and thought, okay, this is pretty cool. But as the game got more mature and people got better and better and better at the game and all of the building mechanics in the game, which I thought were really silly. Now, I think it's pretty cool that you're foraging around looking for weapons in your environment, building materials and stuff like that. But the way the game evolved to the point where you were pretty much just building yourself shelters from bullets, more than, I don't know. I didn't like the way the game evolved, and I never played more than 3 or 4 rounds of the game before I just decided it really wasn't for me, and I really wish it was, because I enjoy the aesthetic of the game, and I enjoy that whole kind of best of 100 sort of atmosphere in Fortnite. It's a pretty cool idea. It's been done in other games and probably done better in other games, but I really wanted to like Fortnite and I just didn't. So number 3 on this list, and again, they're not really in any particular order, and that is The Outer Scrolls Skyrim. Skyrim is an amazing game. It's one of the most popular, just like Minecraft, it's one of the most popular games of all time. People love Skyrim. It has been ported from system to system to system. I know people that own it on 3 or 4 different systems and have beat it at least once on each system that they own the game for. 3-4 times they've played through this 100+ hour game, and they just can't say enough good about it. I like sword and sorcery games in general. See, I'll tell you a little story about Skyrim, and this kind of applies to Minecraft too. I took a break from gaming entirely to move into adult life in about 2003 or so, kind of just into the PS2's lifespan. I had a PS1, I had a PS2, but then life happened. I got a business, started a business and got really involved in that. I got a girlfriend, eventually had a kid, and, things just got to the place where I wasn't interested in gaming anymore. And from about that 2003 era, up until 4 or 5 years ago when I started collecting games again heavily and really getting back into it, I missed out on that whole segment of gaming from the middle of the PS2 run all the way up until, the beginning of the PS4, middle of the PS4 era. So I started collecting games and really getting back into games kind of in that 2014, 2015 sort of era. So I missed out on most of the PS2 and most of the PS3 and Xbox 360 generation and started poking around again kind of a couple years into that PS4 window. So I missed out on Skyrim completely. I remember around 2011 or whenever it was that Skyrim came out, people were telling me it was amazing and I needed to get it, and I was just kind of like, well, it does sound cool, I guess, dragons and swords and whatever, but I never got around to it. I eventually did get myself a PS3 and an Xbox 360 and a PS4 and, a PS2 again. The PS2 was actually the first system I bought, but one of the first games I bought in the first year or so of collecting for PS3 and 360, I bought Skyrim on both systems, and I tried to get into it a couple of times, and I remember having some pretty good memories of watching over my son's shoulder, Kaz's shoulder, as he played Skyrim on the 360, and thought, man, this game looks amazing. But every time I sit down to try and play that game, I kind of get bogged down in that first couple of hours of getting through the dungeon and exploring the story and going to your first village, and I end up a couple hours into the game and then just getting distracted and not really hooked the way I want to be hooked. So I've started that game, I would say, at least 3 or 4 times and not got beyond the first couple of hours. And I really wish that wasn't the case, because that's an experience I would like to share with my fellow gamers out there. That's something, millions of people are in love with and I have not really experienced. So, let me know in the comments, guys, just how important do you think it should be to a gamer to experience something like Skyrim or Minecraft, some of these games of a generation? So moving to the next game, and this one's pretty similar to Skyrim, and that is The Witcher 3. I have heard nothing but amazing stories about The Witcher 3, and I have nothing but the utmost respect for CD Projekt Red. I know that the game is going to be amazing. But what has turned me off time and time again, and I do own The Witcher 2 on 360, and I now own The Witcher 3 on Nintendo Switch, I just can't get over the idea that it is one of the biggest and most daunting games in the history of video gaming. And every time I go to put it in, I think, okay, today's the day. I'm going to play The Witcher 3. Then I realize I'm going to be playing The Witcher 3 at a couple of hours a day from now until next Christmas or beyond. I'm going to be playing it for probably 6 months in order to beat the game. And it's like, you know what? I'm just going to play a little bit of Retro Asteroids or Mario Kart or something that I can just put in, play for 20 minutes and walk away, because I'm just not ready to make that commitment to a game that's going to take me 100 hours. And do I play JRPGs that sometimes take 100 hours? And do I play games in general that do take 60 or 100 hours to complete? Absolutely. I'm working on Persona 5 right now, which is the same sort of idea. I've been putting it off for so long. It's so overwhelming, so daunting, but it's something that I just have to experience, and I'm really enjoying Persona 5. I'm playing Dragon Quest XI, which is another big, huge, long experience, but for some reason, I just can't convince myself to step into that Witcher 3 environment. And you know what? I've watched the TV show, I've read a couple of the books, I absolutely love the world that The Witcher presents, but for some reason, I just can't take that initial step to get past that first couple of hours in the game. Wish I could, just haven't got around to it yet. And the last game on this list, and it's not a console game, it's actually an MMO on the computer, and that is World of Warcraft. Now, I have really wanted to love this game. In fact, I do really love the world of World of Warcraft. I love the characters, I love the story, I was pretty entertained by the Hollywood movie that came out a couple of years ago. I quite enjoyed that. I have played Warcraft a couple of times. I've started up an account and played for the free 30-day trial or whatever, played a few times and built my character up a little bit, and quite frankly enjoyed it. But for some reason, I never got to the place where I was ready to re-up for that next month's subscription. I never got to the place where I was addicted to, paying and paying and paying and building up to level after level after level and expansion after expansion. I always wanted to, because I really enjoy the MMO sort of environment where you've got, the same sorts of people coming back day after day that you're building clans with and that sort of thing. I played a lot of games like Dark Orbit and Pirate Galaxy, which are online space MMOs, and I really enjoyed those. But for some reason, whether I couldn't find the right people to come with me to World of Warcraft, or I wasn't interested in the people I was playing with, I was just never able to get into World of Warcraft. And I think that's sad because, and especially since this year, they released that World of Warcraft Classic edition, which goes back to the beginning, pre all the DLC and all that kind of stuff, and presents the game as it was initially intended before all of the add-ons and add-ons and add-ons that made it such a daunting experience. And I think a lot of people that wanted to jump in, like myself, were looking forward to World of Warcraft Classic. But again, I just haven't gotten around to doing it, and I'm kind of regretting it at this point. So let me know in the comments, guys, what super popular games that you thought you would like or you wanted to get into that you just couldn't get into. Let me know down in the comments, and please go ahead and like this video if you haven't already, because liking the video lets me know if this is the kind of content that you want to see more of, or thumbs down if you didn't like the video. By all means, subscribe though, because we will be putting up a couple of videos a week on all kinds of different topics, and hit that notification bell so that you'll be notified of every video we put out. Alright guys, stay classy.